Yeah.
So I've been pleasantly surprised at how well this works.
Me too, man. I mean, it's always complicated sometimes.
So I'm gonna preface and just say, like, I am on my lunch break. So if I'm eating while you're talking, like, no offense.
No problem. You're welcome, man.
All right. And do you prefer to go by Sushi, or do you care, like, people call you by your real name?
I would say it's up to you. So you can say Sushi. It's fine for me.
So the last name is Biesler?
Biesler.
Biesler? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the American in me, I guess.
That I can look into your face. I mean, it's kind of, I'm polite. Oh shit. Damn. Definitely need to find a solution to have a proper setup, like maybe like this direction. I don't know if there's a chance to get an external webcam or something. Oh, that's beautiful.
Good. I was like, you're facing me, so you're good. So I have the pleasure of taking my lunch, aptly enough, with Sushi, aka Sebastian Biesler, vocalist of GhostKid, whose album GhostKid comes out November 13th via Century Media Records. How are you doing?
Yes.
Trying to think, what is it time-wise for you right now?
Right now, I would say we got 5:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought it was about 5 hours roughly ahead of me. So
yeah.
So I'm enjoying my lunch. So those who will potentially watch this later, don't be too shitty in the comments as I'm eating my lunch while Sebastian's talking. But
right. Enjoy your meal, man.
I will. It's been kind of wild to see the buzz about this record coming up, growing over the last few months. Basically, what has the initial response been like, especially given that the fact we're in the middle of a global pandemic for you?
You mean like the response overall?
Yeah, like, I mean, at this point, we're 3 singles in to the album release, and about just over a month away from it actually being released. So, I mean, how has the initial reaction to all the music coming out, especially given that this is your first release?
Dude, it's amazing. I mean, I got a lot of releases like with Eskimo back in the days, but this is like a really special thing for me because it's like basically the first record that I ever did on my own. And it's amazing to see that people are into the stuff that I did, so, and I mean, each song on this record is absolutely different to the next one. And, I mean, it's really like a different thing, if you just do everything on your own, and this is what I did. So basically GhostKid is more like a solo project. Of course, you read all the comments and you always ask yourself 10 times more if that what you're about to release is good enough, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with the results so far and the response on each track, so I really appreciate that, and it's good to see that people like it.
Something you kind of already touched on, and I was going to get to later, is basically, obviously, this isn't your first record ever. You were in Eskimo Callboy.
Yeah.
And what's been interesting is, coincidentally, you both, at least here in the States, I can't speak to anywhere else, but here in the States, it's been really interesting to see both of you getting a lot of attention. It seems like basically everyone on my Facebook time feed and so forth is really getting into just finding Eskimo Callboy, but they're also championing you as well. So for those that maybe have known you longer, has it, like, because I've seen the comments where a lot of people are like, it's really refreshing to see what you're doing going in a more serious, darker matter and tone. Has that surprised you, going from something that is one thing to now something that's kind of a little bit different, and seeing that people are actually still kind of fucking with you on it?
I was a bit surprised. I mean, like you said before, I mean, it's pretty cool to see that it turns out great for both of us, so, and this is like a really good thing. So for me, it was like I couldn't identify that much anymore with the music, so I was always more attached to like this dark and aggressive stuff. So that's the reason why I said, okay, good, I will quit, and I mean, dude, there have been a lot of ups and downs, to be honest, and yeah, I mean, that's amazing to see that it works in a different way as well, because I mean, it's just one thing to do like this whole party aspect, I would say, but I would say it's a bit more complicated if you got a serious background behind all your songs, to achieve some reaction, because there are already a lot of great bands out there. And I would say Eskimo was a bit more special when it comes down to like this different character, So I'm really happy that it turns out great as well, and to see that people are attached to the music that got a more serious background, I would say.
Something based on the singles that you've released so far, is you've done a really good job of putting out very striking visuals to accompany these
Mhm.
songs.
Yeah.
And how important is it for you to have such a strong visual attachment or representation along with the strong musical side of things and just marrying them really like together?
So I would say it's like a really important thing. I mean, just imagine watching a movie trailer where you got the music but no visuals, you know? So and for me, it's like if you got cool visuals, or basically I used to say, so a music video can destroy a song or can lift it up a bit more, you know? And I mean, that's funny because yesterday I really talked about that topic with my parents, you
Mm.
know? And I said, hey, just imagine you got I don't know, a clown doing bullshit in front of the camera, something like that, you know, but you're listening to like a really, really serious and dark track, you know.
Mm.
So this is something more like a contrast, you know, what makes it a bit ironic in the end, you know. But if you got some pictures that are totally work well with the music, I would say that's like a huge impact. And I mean, as well with GhostKid, it was like really important for me to represent a bit more than the music. I mean, like a whole artist thing as well, you know. And I was always like a lot into visual stuff and art in general, and yeah, I really put the focus on that as well.
It definitely shows, and something that I was kind of impressed with, and I don't know if you've heard this in any of the press you've been doing, but just how natural of a performer you are, given that you seemingly are willing to play just such a myriad of characters throughout the videos. And on top of that, some of the extensive
Thank
makeup that
you.
you have to go through and
Yeah.
sitting in the chair and getting that done is acting maybe something that you would be interested in doing in the future.
Um, I guess I would never be an actor to be honest, but I mean, it's I would say it's easier if you got something you can identify with, you know, and you really feel what you are doing. It's so how can I say that? I wouldn't say at this point it's acting anymore, because if you feel something, even if you play a role in all those that stuff, you know. So for me, like this whole ghost kid thing is more some kind of like an alter ego for me, and I can be somebody that I can't be as Sebastian, for example. So I would say this is another side, but it's still me. And I think when it comes down to the acting, and of course it's a part of that sometimes, but I would say it's more like feeling it, and I think that makes it a lot more easy to um how can I say that? Yeah, it makes it more easy to represent what you feel.
Mm. I just think sometimes, like when you see, and for those that maybe aren't aware of how music videos are made, it's basically you having a giant boombox of sorts playing back to you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're responding to the music being played. So it's a very unnatural way to kind of represent your music in a visual medium.
yeah,
So the fact that your performances in the videos are so nuanced and so forth, it just kind of made me wonder if that's something that you an avenue maybe that you have been maybe trying to pursue recently or in general.
yeah. I mean, like you said, it's always like if you wanted to feel it more, just crank up the fucking volume. You know, it's a, yeah,
Kind of speaking a little bit to the singles that are out now, it's so
yeah,
interesting just the diverse range, and I guess it shouldn't be given the fact of the band that you came from previously, but I mean you have Johnny Three Tears on a version of This Is Not Hollywood,
yeah,
Marcus from Heaven Shall Burn on Supernova, um and I know there's actually somebody else that I'm blanking on who it is now on the other version of
yeah.
This Is Not Hollywood.
Yeah, it's Timmy Hendrix. He's
Yeah.
like a guy from a really famous rap group in Germany, and he's a really good friend of mine. So
Mm.
yeah,
But did you have the guests in mind when you started writing these songs, or was it just kind of a like? Because a lot of times when you hear people collaborating, it's more of you're just sitting there, you're writing, and you go, "Oh fuck, you know who'd be perfect on this? So and so," and then you simply hit them up or whatever. Or
yeah.
sometimes it's more of a collaborative, like they were in the studio with me writing this track or helping me along in the demo phase, and then it just naturally a collaboration happened in the vocal sense.
So I would say it happens like this. So you write a song and you got, for example, like this verse, and I mean it always depends on the song, you know. And for me, it was like, okay, I got the Supernova track, so and it would be really cool to have somebody else performing on that, you know. And I asked myself, okay, so you know a lot of people, and of course you got a lot of context, but it's always like a thing that is still really complicated to hit up somebody who will do a feature. And I
Mm.
thought about, hey, damn, that would be cool to have Heaven Shall Burn on that. But because I mean, like the message is something that they really can relate to, you know. And we're good friends for years right now, but we never asked those guys in Eskimo for a feature. So I thought, hey, now I'm free. I can do whatever I want. I would love to have this guy performing on my track because Heaven Shall Burn is one of the bands I grew up with, you know. And I called the guitar player who's
Mm.
like running the studio where Heaven Shall Burn is recording everything, all of their stuff on their own, you know. And I gave him a call and asked, hey, do you think Marcus will do this song probably? And he showed it to him and he said, okay, let's do it, you know. So this is like that was the case. And so with the other guys, it was basically the same. So I just
Mm.
got the track and thought, okay, I wanted to have something as a feature on that track, you know, and thought about, okay, who would be cool? So but in general, I would say, okay, I just divide in that. Okay, I wanted to have somebody who got a heavy voice, you know. I wanted to have somebody who's doing like, um, I would say some special kind of rap, for example, for this Hollywood one, you know. And I always got him. Always think about that. Okay, does it make sense? Could it work out? You know. And to be honest, a lot of those stuff, I don't know. So in the beginning, I asked myself, okay, could this work? You know. And but everything turned out absolutely great, you know. And this is pretty cool. And I think every feature on my record um, is really special because there's always a story behind that, you know,
Right.
how it came together. So
Kind of speaking a little bit more to This Is Hollywood,
yeah,
the lyrics to it were really interesting to me in that basic and my interpretation,
yeah,
that it seems that Hollywood is where people go to chase their dreams. And it seems that you really put a light on the, excuse me, evil underbelly of what it takes to
yeah.
survive. And even if you do, at what cost do you pay in the end to succeed? What does LA or Hollywood mean to you being from another country?
So I mean, you said it like 50% right, I would say. So this is not Hollywood; it's more like a saying because I mean, even if I was never like a rock star or would never consider myself as a rock star, you know, I'm really aware of the problems that are happening in the show business. So that's the reason why I picked up like this Jesus, who's more like a symbol, you
Mm.
know, because yesterday I really got the same conversation with my mom and dad about that because they have seen the video for the first time, you
Mm.
know, and I said, hey, when it comes down to like this whole way people are going through, like basically artists, you know,
Mhm.
you can compare it to Jesus. I mean, just compare Michael Jackson to Jesus, you know, you're
He was
glorified.
crucified.
Yeah, no, but it's more like that. So you're glorified in the beginning, you know, you are like people see you as a god, you're an idol, you know, and then there comes downfall and probably you end up on the cross. So you got money, you got fame, you got everything that you ever wished for, but this is not Hollywood because in real life you are just human and you can get hurt. I mean, imagine, you know, if you're a big actor or something like that, so you got a lot of friends, but who you really want would call if you got problems, you know. And even if you have everything like on the outside, probably you are really struggling on the inside, you know, and there are a lot of examples for that. So that's the reason why I wrote that song. And I've seen a lot of people changing. I've seen a lot of people doing drugs and stuff, you know, and everything is like always based on the show business and like the
Mm.
role you have to play as an actor because nobody wants to see that you are weak. Everybody wants to see that you're good looking, that you're doing your job, and you just have to run like a machine all
Mm.
the time. You just have to function all the time, you know. And I think if you don't have a sober mind or a strong mind, you probably get into some trouble. And this is what the track is about. And I just picked Hollywood because Hollywood is like when it comes down to LA and like this whole show business, it's like Hollywood is the place to be, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and that's the reason.
No, it's funny because shit, probably a year ago now, talking with Yerky from 69 Eyes, and
Mhm.
obviously, like they have a big fascination with the old Hollywood and so forth. So it is kind of interesting to think of, in doing some of these interviews and doing them with people who A, travel abroad, and B, aren't from here in the States, just kind of getting a completely different perspective of how some of the things that are culturally significant here in America are impacting other people, or the art
Yeah.
maybe that they're making. So it was just kind of an
Yeah.
interesting idea to kind of see what it represented to you, and kind of get a little bit more behind the lyrics to it.
Yeah.
Kind of speaking a little bit more to the that song in particular, I was surprised to see two iterations of this song with two different
Yeah.
guest vocalists,
Yeah.
and the fact that you led off with the Johnny Three Tears version of the single as a single. Is there talks of kind of doing maybe like what Cypress Hill did with like Rock Superstar and Rap Superstar, where you use the same footage basically and just put in, the other, make another video for the other version of the song at some point?
Um, so you mean the reason why I did two versions of the track, or
Well, yeah, let's get that one out of the way first. Why have two, why not just have an elongated, three verse kind of structure thing with, all the vocalists on one track and one song?
so I thought, I mean, in the beginning, there was at first like the Jimi Hendrix feature, and I asked myself, hey, this message and the song is really important for me because, I went through a lot of bullshit back in the days, and like I told you, I've seen people changing and stuff, and I see what's sometimes what this whole show business thing, um, or having huge impact on a person, and a person's character. So I thought, it would be more important to spread this message a bit more international. So that's the reason why I thought, hey, it would be cool to have two successful artists,
Mm.
to tell their own story. And I mean, as well, the structure of the song is not made to for two guests, So, and I really wanted to have the spotlight as well, that this artist got the chance to speak their mind about the situation. And I guess this is what they did,
It's
So,
just it's just
yeah.
interesting because being a big like hip hop fan, like
Mm,
especially lately being listening to a lot of the Wu Tang Forever record. I mean, you look at a song like Forever, or I'm
yeah.
sorry, Triumph, and you literally have seven verses.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I think it's pretty much everybody doing a verse plus
Yeah.
featuring Capadonna, and I mean it's just like and it's a long song. It's like 5 minutes or so,
Oh,
but
really?
it was like the lead off single for that record.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those that when you look at hip hop as kind of, and it
Mm,
kind of be more of a trap kind of beat to it a little bit,
yeah.
that you're kind of thinking not in a traditional rock sense where it's like, okay, you could in theory stretch it out a little bit longer, because in that realm that has
Yeah.
been a proven strategy as far as releasing a single, having a bunch of people on at one time.
Yeah.
So it
I
was
mean,
interesting to see you deviate and kind of give everyone literally their own shine for each
yeah.
like version of the track.
Exactly. But the thing is, I think in hip hop that's like a really good aspect because I think when it comes down to rap, there is in general more space to do it. So I mean, I know it from the German rap artists as well. So because I would say you got more possibilities because you got a beat, and it always depends on how you perform on that. But in rock music, you got something. Okay, you start with the verse probably, or then you got a chorus. I mean, there are more spots in the song that you can't change. I would say in rap music, you got more possibilities to make it happen because I don't know. I would say the beat is sometimes the same, and it always depends on the artist how he's performing on the track. So
Yeah.
in rock music, it's not you're not that free. I would say sometimes when it comes down to structures.
No, for sure. There's definitely
Mm.
more. I mean, in rap, it is kind of more structured around a
Yeah.
hook, and then after the hook, it seems like especially now in today's rap culture, it's like, I've been making the comment. I think 3 6 Mafia basically started the current hip hop trend.
Mm.
Almost 20 years ago, where it's repeat one hook ad nauseum. Probably can't tell me either of the verses,
Yeah.
and then back to the hook.
I think in hip hop it's like the same thing because or in hip hop as well, it's more like the verses are more like or work more like a hook by itself. If you got a really
Can, yeah.
strong part as a verse, it's more like a hook. I would say in hip hop and rock, it's a bit different, and I really love hip hop or and rap, you know. So it's like a thing that I really love as well, and I tried to do it like back in the days as well. So I mean, yeah.
Kind of speaking to the diverse range of this album,
Mhm.
something that is interesting to me, I don't feel like it'll be as much of a problem where you are, given the fact that there are a plethora of bands like a Don Broco or things like that that are just merging all kinds of different styles. But
Yeah.
given the fact of how very niche American fans kind of like their music to be, where it's like you fit in this box, I like things in this box, and
Mhm.
don't really mix them. Do you feel that given how wide array of sounds and so forth that you bring into your music, do you feel like that will make it easier or a little bit harder for American fans to kind of latch onto what you're doing?
You mean like when people are used to put bands in boxes if it's
So
if it's a
like
fax
more,
in some kind of or
yeah. So like basically a
mm,
lot of package tours, when you see them, it's like four of the same band, basically.
yeah. I
Um,
got you. Yeah.
yeah. So basically, I'm wondering if you think that, given how wide and diverse your sound is, that it's going to be easier for you to get on some of these tours and, you know, fit in, or do you think being the oddball out because you're not going to fit in with the rest of the pack, possibly, that it's actually going to make it easier for you to stand out and have people be into what you're doing because you're going to be the one set that sounded completely different where people go, oh, there was that band GhostKid, holy shit, they sounded completely different than everybody
Yeah.
else. Like, do you think it's going to work to your advantage or disadvantage because of that?
I mean, I got the best example ever for that because with Eskimo back in the days we played on a rap tour. I mean, we've been like the only real metal band there who was that was screaming, you know, and doing like those breakdowns and shit. So I mean, it was like the Fight to Unite tour. It was more like a Juggalo tour,
Okay.
and Cottonmouth Kings where did the headliner slot, you know, and there've been a lot of rappers on this tour as well, and I really experienced that it doesn't matter what kind of sound you're playing. It more depends on if the people are attracted to it or not, you know. And I think if you're a good artist, you know, and you can the people can, I don't know, if they're getting emotionally attached by the music, you know, it works as well. Because I used to say that metal and, for example, rap, who could be like the biggest opposites, you know, are both based on a rhythm, you know. So I mean, if a beat kicks in, or if you got a huge mosh part, I would say that's some kind of like the same energy, you know.
Mm.
So, and if the people are into it, probably they will like it. And I think it's like a good thing in general if artists are sounding different, because like you said, it sometimes you got five bands that exactly sound the same, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing though to be a bit weird. I mean, how would you categorize Youngblood? You know, so is he doing pop? Is he doing rap? Is he doing grunge? What he's doing,
Yes.
but everybody
Yes is
likes
the
him.
answer.
And yeah, what kind of music is he doing? Yes.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of the thing too, is that it's been interesting, kind of getting, one of the bands that I was really into growing up. I mean, granted, growing up, I'm 36, but in my late teens was the band Him,
Yeah.
because it reminded me and sounded like the parts of Typo Negative I really liked. It
Mhm.
sounded like, some of the more pop structured things I liked. It
Yeah.
combined things that I hadn't really heard be combined in that way. And a lot of times I just find outside of like a Kill Switch Engage or some of those kind of things where they were kind of at the forefront of what they were doing, that
Yeah.
tend to find a lot of overseas European bands and so forth that they just almost like just throw shit at a wall and go, yep, that sounds great, we're gonna run with it. And you're just like, I mean, like you said, you look at Youngblood, you look at what you're doing, what Bring Me's been
Mm.
doing over the last handful of years, Don Broco and stuff like that, and they're not any one thing, and it's exciting. It reminds me of when I used to go to shows as a kid, and you'd have a juggalo rapper on a hardcore show with
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
indie folk band or whatever, and it all worked. It's fine. And
Exactly.
and
I
that's
mean,
the thing that's interesting to me, that I don't know if kids nowadays are as open to those kind of experiences, or if it's because I live here in America and
mm,
Americans need everything to be a very specific way.
I think So the most important thing when it comes down to an artist, and it doesn't matter what kind of music you're doing or in what kind of genre the people could categorize you, it's all about telling a story. So
Mm.
if the story you're telling is great, um, it's like a really good thing when you know what I mean. So I think it's all about the story you tell. I think just imagine back in the days, for example, Billie Eilish. You
Mm.
got all those pop stars. So everybody's sexy. Everybody sings really well. I don't know. It's like most of them are blonde. you know, and then. And then there is like Billie Eilish, who's doing like the complete opposite. She's weird. She got a different sound. And I used to say, music is like toast. You go to the supermarket and you got a lot of great toast. Everything tastes great. So, but how can I find your toast? And Billie
Mm.
Eilish is like the green toast in the in the supermarket. I mean, even if you haven't tasted yet, you definitely
Interested.
looked on that package. And I think
Yeah.
this is what it is to create something that people can identify with and
Mm.
to tell a story that's interesting. And yeah, just do it different like the other dude. So yeah.
Kind of one of the last questions I have for you before plugging socials and all
All
that.
right.
So I was I always try to go through someone's socials and just try to find something fun and interesting to kind of bring up into the conversation.
All right.
Don't have a whole lot in the way of socials, it seems, for you personally, but I did stumble across a cover of you doing a karaoke version of Bullet for My Valentine, like some odd years ago. Do you karaoke much? And if so, what is your go-to song?
Dude, karaoke is the fucking hardest thing for a singer to do. And I mean, I just do it when I'm completely drunk, and I need to
Does
tell
anyone
that.
do it sober?
I don't know, but I have to tell you a special story. So my girlfriend, she was celebrating her birthday at a karaoke bar,
Mhm.
and it's not that you're just going like a normal guest to this karaoke bar, because you are a singer, it's your job. So of course you have to nail it. And so it was me walking into this karaoke bar and said, "Oh, good, that will be fun," And there is like this guy, this totally nerdy guy, and he said, "Okay, I wanted to sing Let It Go from like this Disney
Frozen.
movie there. And this dude is fucking killing it, you know. He's singing it so well. I mean, I would never consider myself as a good singer. I got a lot of stuff to work on, but you walk into this karaoke bar, it's your fucking job, and there is this one guy fucking killing that track. And okay, my girlfriend celebrated her birthday, and after 5 gin tonic, it was like she was supposed to sing with her sister. So easy track, Christina Aguilera Fighter. No way, no problem. It's an easy track, of course. And then there was like this moment. Okay, my sister is she have to go home right now. So could you help me out with this one? And I said, okay, what was the track again? They want a bit stronger. Okay, good. It was like this, and the verses. I don't know the fucking verses. I never listened to the whole track. And then it was like, okay, the next guy is Sebastian and Michelle. All right, good. Let's do this shit. And I was staying in front of the microphone. Everybody was watching at me, and I tried to sing it, but I've not. I don't know the fucking song. And she was like with the microphone, you're so disappointing. You're a singer. In between the singing. And this was, I mean, I was drunk, so it was not like that bad, but it really felt bad to me. And then I went to the DJ and said, okay, could you play some Jason Derulo? This is probably something I could do. And he said, hey, you're the singer from Eskimo. And well, oh my God, it was like this. So this was like a kind of really embarrassing moment as a singer, I would say. So that's the reason why I got huge respect when it comes down to karaoke.
Lastly, where can everyone find you personally or band socials online?
Yeah. So I would say Instagram is probably the easiest way to find me.
And what
Yeah.
is the handle?
It's GhostKiddo.
Okay. Well,
With
thank you so
double D.
much. Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking for you on Twitter and thought maybe it'd be the same, and it is not.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and looking
you.
forward to everyone finally getting to hear this record, and hopefully eventually making your way down this way to the States and touring when that's all allowed to happen again.
I hope so, man. totally looking forward. It's been a while.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.